Hello, so here is my 2025 Honda NC750X DCT version in white. I'll run through some of the specs of this. So this is a DCT version, that comes in at £8,399. That's without any of the optional packs that you can get. There's the Adventure Pack, which this has fitted, the Comfort Pack, which is also fitted, the Urban Pack, which gives you the side panniers, which I didn't have fitted, and sorry, that was the Touring Pack as the side panniers, and the Urban Pack, which I do have fitted, which gives you the top box. So some of the other features of this bike, in difference to the previous model, the plastics are slightly different. The colours, so you've got the white colour, there's a bright orangey red colour, there's a black, and there's like an olive green colour, which seems to be quite popular. Also, a new addition for the 2025 model is the twin disc brakes on the front, which is what I've heard is a welcome addition. There's LED bright lights all round. One of the bad things about this bike is there's no cruise control. It really could do with that. Would like make the bike, as far as I'm concerned, like excellent. Not that it's not. Additionally, there's no self-cancelling indicators, which I think is pretty poor for Honda. So the engine is a 745cc liquid-cooled 8-valve single overhead cam twin. As you can see, it's slanted forward quite a way, which helps with the centre of gravity, or low centre of gravity. Additionally, it has a 14.1 litre fuel tank, which is located underneath the seat, which means that you have a 23 litre storage capacity in the what would be the petrol tank, which is known as the frunk. It has a curb weight of 226 kilos, so it's not a particularly light bike. However, due to the low centre of gravity, it certainly doesn't feel heavy at all. I had a cross tourer before, which was, I think it was about 280 kilos, and you certainly knew that was top heavy. The seat height on this is 802mm, which is quite comfortable. I'm around 5'9", 5'10", in between there, and I can get both feet flat on the floor. So on this 2025 model, there's full LED lights, as I mentioned before. It also has a new 5-inch TFT display. Which has Bluetooth connectivity to your phone and provides turn-by-turn navigation, your phone, music. There's also a weather app. The turn-by-turn isn't great because you don't get a map, but it does the job. There are different modes, so you have rain mode, road mode, sport mode, and there's 2 user programmable modes. That's probably about all I can say for this while it's standing there, but I think we'll get out and take it on the road and give it a wee blast. It's a particularly nice afternoon for this time of year in Northern Ireland, so I'm out while the weather's good, although I'll be out when the weather's bad as well, but just making the most of what I can at the moment. Just coming up there where that car wash sign is, to the left there, I'll slow down, is Corridor Shooting Club. As you can see, that's where I shoot, and I also work for the firearms dealer there as an armourer, repairing, modifying, cleaning, doing whatever I can to customers' firearms. So back to the bike. I've probably done about 300 miles on this. I only had the bike a couple of weeks, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I need to get more miles in because it's booked in for its first service. It's a 600 mile service next Thursday, so I need to get out and about over the next week. And the weather is reported to be particularly rubbish as usual for this time of year for next week, so I'll be getting wet. Well, the bike certainly will. At the moment I mainly stay in road mode. That's purely because I don't want to push it too much while it's in its early days. In road mode it's perfectly fine. The only thing I find with road mode is it doesn't hold the gears particularly long, so it's continually changing gears. It's not a big problem because you haven't got to worry about it, but you do find that you'll be in a higher gear at a much lower speed than what you normally would be. When you switch to sport mode, there is a noticeable difference in that you see the gears and feel the gears holding much longer. That's bloody difficult. So yeah, you must remember on this bike that there is no self-cancelling indicators, which is particularly poor, I think, for Honda. Yes, this is I suppose one of their cheaper bikes, but for the sake of a couple of quid I'm sure they could have included self-cancelling indicators. Likewise, there's no cruise control, which I think is pretty poor as well, and there's actually not even an option to have it fitted. So down the line I may be looking to Viridian, which I believe is a Canadian company that makes cruise controls for various bikes, and they have just released one for the 2025 model of this bike. I have the comfort seat fitted to this bike, and I can honestly say the seat is lovely. The bike that I test rode, that also had a comfort seat, so I can't compare it to anything else. It's much comfier than riding a Harley, put it that way. Coming up to now is the windmill, which you can see there to my left, right, sorry. There was a cafe at the bottom of that windmill, but it's but that shut down about a year ago, sadly. That was a very nice coffee shop. So back to the bike. I also have the adjustable windscreen fitted to this bike, the Honda one. I have it in its highest position and it's fine. There's no, I don't feel any wind on my shoulders, chest or on my helmet, so that's pretty good. I'm around 5'9", and yeah, there's no problems at all. The bike weighs 226 kilos, but you really don't notice that at all because of the low sense of gravity given by the angle of the engine and the fact that the fuel tank is under the seat. So yep, it feels like a super light bike. In regards to power, I have had no issues in regards to power. A lot of people say that these are underpowered, boring bikes. They're not a sports bike, and they're not BMW GS or anything like that, but I understand they're mostly used for commuting, but they're just as, not just as, they are fun bikes. You can get out and you can do whatever you want on them. on our roads in Britain, if you know what I mean. I've had absolutely no problems with this. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's an excellent move that I did in buying this bike in replacement for my Honda VFR 1200 Cross Tourer, which was a beast of a bike. It was once you was moving, it was lovely. It ate the roads up, but in slow moving, it was just ridiculously heavy and top heavy. So riding around country lanes, this bike is fine. You can throw it about, no problems whatsoever. So we're now coming into Bangor. Counter down. I'll go through the city centre, what there is of it, so you can see what it's like riding through towns. You've got quite a good presence on this bike, and you can see reasonably well over the top of the cars in front. And this is where the DCT comes on into its own. There's no bother whatsoever in regards to gear changes or anything like that. Brakes are good on this. I find front and back brake work very well, and they're probably, well, I say they probably are bedded in after about 300 miles, which certainly feel good. So as you can see, 30 miles an hour, 4th gear, so in road mode. Whereas you may normally on a manual bike be keeping this in 2nd or 3rd gear. But it's not a problem because it adapts quickly, so if you need to put a bit of a spurt on, it drops down very quickly. Likewise, if you slow down anymore, it drops down so that you're ready to pull off again. As soon as I touched the brake there, it automatically went straight down. And there we go. You can hear the gear change, and you feel the like more of a click rather than a clunk as the bike changes gear. But it's not a top of the range BMW car where you don't feel the automatic gearbox changing. It is an £8,000 motorbike. It's not 20 odd grand BMW GS with their new adaptive gear selection. I don't know what it's called, ASA or something. Yeah, but it works well. The DCT is fantastic. It's a new program for the DCT in the 2025 model. And the idea behind that is to improve the DCT at low speeds, and I can certainly say I've had no problems with this at low speeds at all. I've also had no problems with the suspension on this. It feels quite good. Front suspension isn't adjustable. The rear suspension is adjustable manually. So coming into Bangor city centre now. Like I said, what there is of it, it's going through a lot of rejuvenation, if that's the right word to use. And hopefully that will bring more life to the town. A lot of the shops here are just empty. Whole shopping centre there empty. This was a car park that's being changed into more of a park area to my left. The hotel there, the orange hotel, it's all boarded up. That supposedly is getting renovated and brought back to life. And then we have the marina. Bangor is quite an affluent area of Northern Ireland, so why it's run down so much I have no idea. Obviously the council's fault. And there we have, to my left, Belfast Lock. As you can see, you will either see container ships or ferries leaving Belfast for Scotland or Liverpool or the Isle of Man. So this is Belfast Lock leading out into the Irish Sea. There is an unusual ship looking out there in the distance. Doesn't look like the normal ship. Maybe it's a Royal Navy ship. Looks a bit of a beast. Something dark in colour. Anyway, that's me coming to the end of my ride. I'm going to stop at this little car park for a cup of tea before heading home. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks a lot. Bye for now. Stop recording.